Well, first I have to give you a little setting. Is there automats? Were there automats here? Do you know what an automat is? Well, I'll tell you. Of course, I'm telling you in English, but you can get the translation and find out. Horn and Hard Arts, the queen of the automats, was just past the fish and tackle shop. This is near the Chelsea Hotel. The routine was to get a seat and a tray, then go to the back wall where there were rows of little windows. You would slip some coins into a slot, open the glass hatch, and extract a sandwich or some fresh apple pie. My favorite was chicken pot pie or cheese and mustard sandwich with lettuce on a poppy seed roll. Robert liked their two specialties, baked macaroni and cheese and chocolate milk. Robert was mystified that I didn't appreciate Horn and Hard Art's famous chocolate milk. But for a girl raised on Bosco and powdered milk, it was too thick, so I always just got coffee. I was always hungry. I metabolized my food way too quickly. Robert could go without eating much longer than me. If we were out of money, we just didn't eat. Robert might be able to function even if he got a little shaky, but I would feel like I was going to pass out. One drizzly afternoon, I had a hankering for one of those cheese and lettuce sandwiches. I went through our belongings and found exactly 55 cents. I slipped on my gray trench coat and Mayakovsky cap and headed for the automat. I got my tray and I slipped my coins in, but the window wouldn't open. I tried again without luck, and then I noticed the price had gone up to 65 cents. I was really disappointed, to say the least, when I heard a voice say, "Can I help?" I turned around, and it was Allen Ginsberg. We had never met, but there was no mistaking the face of one of our great poets and activists. I looked into those intense dark eyes, punctuated by his dark curly beard, and just nodded. Allen added the extra dime and also stood me for a cup of coffee. I wordlessly followed him to his table, and then I plowed into the sandwich. Allen introduced himself. He was talking about Walt Whitman, and I finally mentioned I was raised near Camden, where Whitman was buried. He leaned forward and looked at me intently. "Are you a girl?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Is that a problem?" He just laughed. "I'm sorry. I took you for a very pretty boy." I got the picture immediately. "Well, does this mean I gotta return the sandwich?" No, he said. "Enjoy it. It was my mistake." He told me he was writing a long elegy for Jack Kerouac, who had recently passed away. 3 days after Rimbaud's birthday, I said. I shook his hand, and we parted company. Sometime later, Allen became my good friend and teacher. We often reminisced about our first encounter, and he once asked how I would describe how we met. I would say, "You fed me when I was hungry," I told him, and he did. I was amongst a small group of people with Allen when he died, and while Allen was in his last sleep, I walked around and looked at the books in his library, and he had many, many, many books on William Blake. And I took one out of the library, and I looked, and as usual, every margin, every piece of white on the page was filled with Allen's comments. You could hardly read the William Blake stuff because it was all Allen's comments and ideas. But in any event, whenever I sing this little song, I remember to give a little salute to Allen. advancing pole by pole. Boots that tramp from track to track, oh, down to the soul. When road was paved in gold, when road was just a road. Am I Blakean Year? Such a woeful schism. The pain in our existence was not as I envisioned. Boots that tramp from track to track, worn down to the soul. When road was paved in gold, when road was just a road. Am I Blakean Year? Temptation, yet a hiss, just a shallow spear. Road in cowardice. Brace yourself for bitter flack, for a life divine, a labyrinth of riches never shall unwind. The tears that bind the pilgrim sack are stitched into the Blakean back. So throw off your stupid cloak, embrace all that you fear. There's joy